Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I hope that you all are doing well, feeling good. Sometimes the day wears down on you. And I hope that sometimes, maybe you stop by the channel, you see a song that you're interested in, or you hear something new, or you see something familiar, and maybe it lifts you just at least an inch up. So I hope that, sometimes that's what you get when you stop on by. Today we're going to check out Eric Johnson. We've listened to Eric Johnson before, and now we're going to listen to this track at Desert Rose. This is coming off of the album Avia Musicom, which was released in 1990. We're listening to this because it was suggested and sponsored by Randy. Randy, thank you so much for the recommendation. Thank you so much for the suggestion as well. I appreciate that. I'm excited to dive on in. Let's go ahead and pull it up. We're going to watch it via YouTube here. I'm getting it open. I'm getting it ready. So let's get it fastened. Let's get it set. And let's seat ourselves. I almost pressed the end record button. Hold on. I'm confusing myself here. There we go. There we go. Sorry.
Desert rose dances in heat of the sky. I must spend my life about you. You can make the most when the waters run dry. Look into the well deep inside you. My desert rose, born out of you.
Oh, that feels good.
Always with me, vision of aquiline reflection that flows through my
That was
dreams.
like a Sting song.
Errant is the dust underneath me. Something far away, a mirage, so it seems. What I long to see, or could it be? My desert rose,
I like that guitar pop.
born I love you. Always with me, vision of you.
Oh, that bass line. That's smooth.
My desert rose,
That was a perfect amount of solo in there.
born out of you.
That's catchy.
Always with me, oh yeah, vision of you. My desert rose, born out of you. Always with me, vision of you.
That's a workout. This is a perfect encapsulation of a catchy rock song that also has some really fantastic guitar playing in it. This is the perfect bringing it all together and laying it all down and shredding it over. So musically, let's take out the guitar solos for a second. Toss those back. It sounds like a Sting solo song because it has that movement, it has that kind of easygoing groove and tight-knit rhythms in it. Singing goes down very easy in here. Like to me, it reminds me of Sting a little bit. And is it going to be Johnson singing on this one? Yes, it is Johnson singing on this particular track. And his voice is so smooth and catchy, and it just sounds great. I really enjoy that. Then, the movement of the whole song, especially the bass playing. On bass, you're going to have Roscoe Beck handling that on this one. And he just lays down a very solid, bouncy, and kind of bubbly groove behind him. Drums are fine as well. Like, just verse to chorus, a very smooth rock track, but one that still has a little bit of sand underneath it, a little bit of edge, right? I'm going to play it again here real quick just so you don't get scared.
You can make the
Right?
most
Big drum sound, a lot of space, feels good. And I like the way the guitar kind of hops back there, just like it's getting ready to play a game with you. We're getting to the game. And then, let me get to the lyrics, of course. Nice, colorful, notes on the guitar back there. Big, open-ended. Great. It already has a great formula and structure for a nice, big, kind of powerful sound because you can hear it building up there. Then they get into the first solo. This is such a great exercise in a solo that fits into the nature of the song. It fits into the context, but is also allowed to have a little bit of chromatic expression, allowed to kind of play outside the typical bonds and barriers. And, it feels progressive within a small amount of time. If you were to, I'm not taking out the final solo, but if you were to cut this to the final chorus, this is a perfect pop song that you could, not pop song, but song you could put on the radio for a single. I would have no reservations if this was a single from the album. And I'm going to look it up real quick to see if it was, because I think it has that single material. What does that mean? It means that it's catchy and likable enough for a general audience, but it still has something to bite onto for those maybe who want a little something more. And I think that this track brings it in every regard. This solo is exciting. It's fun. It's colorful. There's speed involved, but there's also a deep sense of melody. Then we get to the final chorus and everything. Powerfully sung. Sounds great. And then we get one finale. We get a final solo here. Hold on 1 second. My wife is texting me, and I can answer her really quickly. Sure. Hold on. I'm just finishing. Okay. And I'll head over in a little. She's unexpectedly going to the mechanic. Nothing wrong. Just earlier an appointment than we thought. Okay, but then this solo, let me skip this. This gets a little bit extra. This gives it just a little bit extra. This is the when you when you order fast food, and let's just say you ordered the typical meal, burger, fries, and a drink, that extra solo at the end is when you go to Burger King and there's like randomly onion rings and stuff in there. That's what the solo there at the end is. It's like, oh, I didn't expect this, but I'll take it. And I like how we get a little bit crunchier in there. There's a few more actual chords being used in there, and it kind of creates this really cool heaviness, but still retaining a lot of that melody in here. And it's just very fantastic played. The band is doing a great job backing up, but still creating that space. Because the space that's in there was set up from the very beginning, right? And all the verse and all the chorus, all this space. Just gently filled, and then later on, they give that space back to Eric to do his thing, and this time it's not gently filled, it's very melodically filled. And I think that the track does a great job moving back and forth between it all and giving it a lot of flavor in every single respect. Desert rose that dances in heat of the sky, I must pattern my life about you. You can make the most when the waters run dry. Look into the well. deep inside you. My desert rose born are the few, always with me, vision of you. Acrolith reflection that flows through my dreams and is arid, rather, is the dust underneath me, something far away, a mirage so it seems. What I long to see, could it be my desert rose? Perhaps he's finding himself in a barren, arid situation. Maybe not literally, but of course figuratively. And he's suffering, he's burdened, he's hot, symbolically. But there in the distance, he sees what he thinks is a mirage. No. He thinks is a fake oasis. No. It is his desert rose, the one thing that can bring him that rejuvenation, that hope, that energy there, even when he finds himself suffering. It just repeats from there. The chorus, always with me, vision of you, born of the few, always with me. Don't fade away. Don't go away. Stay right where you are. Let's see what other people said about this track. One of the few guitarists out there, I can listen to his music over and over, never getting old. Ear candy, that's a great way to describe it. Smoothest player I've ever heard, especially at high speeds. His notes seem to flow into each other. Also, very, very true. It's a very fluid manner of playing. Second solo always puts me flat on the floor. I wanted this to be my wedding song ever since I was a small child. If this was the wedding song, you might have some people rocking out there. Now that people have mentioned it, I will agree with that. Like, I think that's also part of what makes the solo in both realms, or both solos here in the track, so good, is how smooth they feel. While still having kind of a rough edge in a particular sense to it. Like, that's what makes it rock out, but still being very fluid between the notes and the way he plays. That's actually a really great point. Very, very true. If there's one place that you can get some good comments and stuff like that, it's on YouTube comments, but under specific songs or music related things. Sometimes YouTube comments in other places aren't really the place to be. But when it comes to songs and stuff, that's usually a good place. Unfortunately, years and years ago, YouTube had nuked a bunch of comment sections. That's why if you find, like for example, like Eric Johnson, you see on the channel Eric Johnson topic, and you go to like a song there, there's no comments there because they nuked that a long time ago. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought. Of course, in the comments down below. Thank you so much, Randy, for the suggestion and the request. I truly appreciate that. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you later. Bye, guys.